Someone said property taxes are so high in Texas. They are, but it's still, home prices are low, at least in the neighborhoods that we look at. So if you're looking at a $150,000 home and taxes are 2.5%, 3%, it's still fairly low compared to California, where you've got a much higher priced house, even though it's a lower property tax. But if you don't like the taxes, then look at other markets like Atlanta or Florida, where you still have a lot of population growth and job growth, but lower property taxes. Someone said, I agree, cash is king. Do you see foreclosures rising in the near term? I don't see it in the near term simply because there's so much effort to prevent that from happening. I think banks really don't want to go through that again. That's, I think, where people are a little misled and thinking that we're going to have this massive foreclosure again. In 2009, it was crazy. If you lived through that, I mean, you could get $60,000 homes in California. They just flooded the market with foreclosures. Very shortly after that, the banks realized that was a bad idea. It wasn't good for anyone. So, and certainly not for their balance sheets. So instead, they did different kind of workouts. They did the forbearances, but then they also did the loan mods and kind of, worked out deals with people. We also started to see banks become landlords. Or even wholesalers. They started to kind of fix up, or I should say flippers. If instead of putting a dilapidated, foreclosure boarded up, all stinky and stuff on the market, like, no, we're going to fix it up ourselves and we'll get a higher price for it. So, and some, like I said, some lenders just ended up renting, getting in the rental business. So I don't think banks really want to go through that again. I don't think they're going to go through that again. Will there be an uptick? Probably. So, it won't be, we were at very, very low foreclosure rate just a few months ago. Would we see an uptick from that? Probably. So I expect that our teams in all the different markets are going to find more inventory. Just a few months ago, they were having a very hard time finding inventory. You had all these iBuyers, with billions of dollars of cash. These iBuyers were coming in and becoming the new wholesaler and just buying up all the distressed assets. It made it really hard for people like us to compete. A lot of those iBuyers are out now. So there will be more opportunity. It was really hard to find inventory. We had a lot of complaints last year of people saying, yeah, you're telling us that real estate's a good deal, but nobody's got any property, and it was frustrating. So I think there will be more, but I don't think we'll see a flood of foreclosures. Jacksonville, Florida, very, very good. Yeah, we love Jacksonville. There's a good, I think that's one of our most popular markets actually right now between Tampa. Well, they're all popular, but yes, I would watch that webinar. Ben in Florida says, in Florida, very little has changed other than the restaurants are only doing takeout and gyms and salons are closed. It's different, but people are not really locked in their homes at all. In fact, I think the beaches just opened, but according to Ben, you have to walk, you can't sit on the beach. But in California, our beaches opened and people were doing all kinds of things, sitting, and it was crowded. And Ventura and Orange County, they opened up. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think people are either just tired of this, or they're not as scared anymore, or they think I don't know, things are changing. There was an FOMC meeting today. I don't quite know what happened there. If you know, let me know. I'll know soon. Very soon, I'm sure. An election year, yes, Trump will not let the market go down. I am in agreement with that. I think he's gonna pull some tricks to make things work. So he's battling a lot, but he's battling against some forces that don't want to see that happen, unfortunately. But I think he'll find a way to bring the economy back before election time. Are you concerned about a second wave of the virus in the fall and winter? Yeah, I don't like getting sick. I don't want this. I have my personal opinions on what this is that I won't share because, man, people think I'm crazy, but but I don't want to get this. But I do believe there is, well, let's just put it this way. There are the brightest minds in the world in the world, the most brilliant scientists in the world coming together to fight a common enemy that has shut down the world and affected everyone. These scientists and doctors are sharing information. They have technology they've never had in the past. They have access to AI. They're going to find a solution. I do believe that I mean, I think not only a solution to this, but many things, because there are relationships being built now. There are companies now shifting gears to solve this problem, and not just this problem, but future problems. So yes, I'm concerned about a second wave, but I also believe that the greatest minds in the world will find a solution. That's my hope. For cash flow, pick an area, call property managers, Zillow, online rentals for average rents, pick a house with an average rent, run your figures on mortgage payments, PITI, and determine your cash flow. Heck yeah. Are there any markets you recommend for both cash flow and appreciation? Yeah, I would say Florida. I mean, our teams there, you got to watch those webinars. It's incredible what the new homes are so cheap compared to where you get anywhere else, and the climate is warm. These areas are sort of out of hurricane zones. The property taxes are low, so I do like Florida. Massive migration trends to Florida, but also to Alabama and Georgia and Texas. It's just the Southwest and Southeast in general. But I also like Ohio and Indianapolis, and Chicago has some great opportunities. So just kind of depends on what you're looking for. But for cash flow and appreciation, Florida, parts of Georgia, Texas, Alabama. Someone said, I had COVID-19, not that bad. Let's all get it and get herd immunity. I don't want to get it, but oh, and he's age 75. Awesome, Alan. Wow. Good for you. I still don't want to get it, but I guess I'd feel better if I already had it and then I didn't have the herd immunity. Okay. Okay, here's a question. What amount of net cash flow would you consider worth doing? It depends. It depends on your goal. A lot of people don't need cash flow right now. If you're young, you're starting out, you're in your 30s, maybe you just want a property that pays for itself, that someone else is just paying off your rent for you, but you're in a really strong growing area and you're not worried about the cash flow today because you have a good job, but you know that the property is going to be worth a lot more later. You've got someone paying off your debt for you while the value goes up. So it just depends on the area. But what I've often showed people is if you were to get 10 loans, you can get 10 Fannie or Freddie loans for rental property. A lot of people don't realize that you can qualify for 10 investor loans that are conventional loans backed by the US government at super low fixed 30-year fixed rate mortgages. If you bought 10 properties and your target was a $300 a month cash flow, then that would be $3,000 a month cash flow and $36,000 by the end of the year. If you took that and you paid off just one property and the loan on that property was say $80,000 because you bought a $100,000 home, well, you'd have that property paid off from all the cash flow from the other properties. You'd have it paid off in 2.5 years just from cash flow. So if you're sort of in a I want to retire soon mindset, I would probably shoot for $300 a month cash flow, 100,000-ish price point properties. And again, I'm just throwing numbers out there. And then, if you just take all the cash flow and pay off each home one at a time, you could have that portfolio paid off in 12 to 15 years potentially. So that's just one way to do it. But that's for the people looking for cash flow and to maybe retire soon. And but for others that are just building a portfolio, it's more important that you just pick a really good property in an area that's growing, I think, and that's how you build long-term wealth. Let's see. They are doing everything in Sacramento to repeal Prop 13. No! If that group can't repeal it, the heavily partisan legislator are adding fees to either home builders or additional fees homeowners may not be aware of, so the additional property taxes in Texas may be a moot point. Very good point. Hey, we got to push back. That would be a bummer. Okay, we're worried about the national debt before the pandemic. What do you think about it now? I think it is a disaster. So Yeah, I don't even know how to answer that. It was a problem before. It's a bigger problem now, but it's not my biggest concern right now. I think that the focus on bringing jobs back to America, getting Americans back to work, really investing in small businesses, bringing power back to the people, that to me is the bigger concern. And when those things are in place, then hopefully, I do think there'll be a lot of bankruptcies and some of that debt will go away that way. So it's not, again, not great for credit, not great for people trying to buy homes, but it would cut some of that back. I think we'll see less debt because of that. All right. Governor Newsom just closed all state beaches and parks today. Okay. Ventura and Orange County, I guess apparently are going to fight back because they are not going to be happy about that. What is the minimum net cash flow on a little house after expenses? 100, 200, 300, depends. I would just speak to an investment counselor at Real Wealth or speak to some of the different property providers in the network and just get an idea of cash flow in the different markets. It's going to be higher in the Midwest, the cash flow. It's going to be a little lower in the markets where the stronger demographic growth is. But all of the markets that we promote tend to be affordable markets. All right, you are welcome. Do you think getting great cash flow in cheap areas where you can make a killing to pay for your California house you occupy is better than just waiting for equity growth in tiny cash flow homes in more expensive areas? Yes, I think that's a very good tactic, is to buy a bunch of cash flow properties, use that cash flow to live wherever you want in California and rent, to potentially use that money to rent. That's one way to do it. Again, it just depends. Everyone has their goal. Remember at the beginning of this, I said, what's your agenda? That's going to be the most important thing for you to figure out. What is it that you really want? What are you trying to achieve? And then how do you set up your plan and your goals for that? And again, our investment counselors can help you with that. Okay, I'm way over time. So thanks everybody so much for joining me here today. Oops, got a couple more questions. Okay. Yeah, thanks so much for joining me here today. Have a really wonderful rest of your day. And I really look forward to your feedback, any input you may have. I'm really open to it. I appreciate any feedback. I learn a lot from our members. Take care. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.